Next part of 5.2 is being able to take a list of solutions or zeros and write a polynomial function in standard form. So I want to do a couple of them with you. The second one's going to be a little longer than what I would have you do on your own, just to give you an idea of how this works. So we've done a little bit of this already, so it should sound very familiar. We're just kind of adding another layer to it. So every time they give you a solution or a zero, you're going to have to write the factor that goes with it. So for the first one, -2, that means x plus 2 is the factor that goes with a solution of -2. And then for +2, it will be x minus 2. And then for 3, it will be x minus 3. So now we did this in chapter 4, but the difference was we did it when we only had 2 solutions. And so you FOILed and you were done. What makes this more involved is now we have multiple factors. We have 3 factors, we could have 4 factors. So we've got to do a lot of multiplying together. So if you look at something like this, I need to pick 2 of these factors and FOIL first. It doesn't matter which 2. I will say with these 2, since they are one's +2, one's -2, they will be the easiest to FOIL. So I'm going to start with that. So when I FOIL x plus 2 and x minus 2, the outer and the inner will cancel. So I only have to multiply the first and the last. So x times x is x squared, and 2 times -2 is -4. Now I'm going to take that and I'm going to FOIL that with x minus 3. So you're going to find yourself kind of FOILing and then continuing to FOIL, a lot of multiplying it together. So now when I multiply x squared times x, I get x to the third. My outer is going to be -3x squared. My inner is going to be -4x, and my last is going to be +12. So this is going to be the standard form of my function. I do want to show you what it looks like because it's great to kind of keep that visual comparison. So when I type it in, so I have x to the third minus 3x squared minus 4x plus 12. And what you'll see is you will see a graph that goes through -2, +2, and 3. So you have that visual verification to compare where does it cross versus what my equation is. The other thing that we notice is it's cubic, so it has n behavior that goes down on one side and goes up on the other side. So you can kind of put together a lot of the things that we've been talking about. So now if we take that a step further and we take that exact same set of solutions, but we add another one to it. So now looking at this next question, we still have -2, 2, and 3, but we actually have -2 showing up twice. So we call that a repeated solution, and I'm going to talk more about that actually in my next video. But I do want to show you it here, how we work with it by hand. So if you have a repeated zero, that means that you have this x plus 2 twice. So you're going to have an x plus 2 and another x plus 2. You're going to have an x minus 2, and you're going to have an x minus 3. Well, we already multiplied all this together in the last slide. So I'm going to go back to what I already multiplied to save time and see that that ended up being x to the third minus 3x squared. So x to the third minus 3x squared minus 4x plus 12. So now I'm going to take all of that I got in the previous question, but I have another factor that's x plus 2. So now I have to multiply this together. So this is called extended distributing. Essentially what you're doing is you're taking the x times everything in the next parentheses, and then you're taking the 2 times everything in the next parentheses. What you're going to end up have happening is you're going to have 8 terms because the x is going to be multiplied by 4 terms, and then the 2 is going to be multiplied by 4 terms. So you get a lot of terms to start. So first I'm going to take x times everything. So x times x to the third is x to the fourth, x times -3x squared gives you -3x cubed, x times -4x is -4x squared, and x times 12. So that's multiplying everything by x. And now I'm going to multiply everything in the second parentheses by 2, so essentially just doubling them all. So we get 2x to the third minus 6x squared minus 8x plus 24. Don't worry, they're not all this long, I promise. And then to finish it, we're going to combine all my like terms. So I still have an x to the fourth. My -3x cubed and 2x cubed will combine to give me a -1x cubed, or just -x cubed. My -4x squared and -6x squared is going to combine to give me -10x squared. My 12x and my -8x are going to combine to give me 4x. And finally, I have a 24. So I'm going to take a look at what this looks like on the calculator. So this was the one before it. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to type in this one. So x to the fourth minus x to the third minus 10x squared plus 4x plus 24, hit graph. And you're still going to see that the graph touches or crosses the x-axis at -2, at +2, and 3. The difference here is you want to look at the -2 one, and this is going to, I'm kind of talking about it up here, but you're going to hear me talk more in my next video. What you'll notice at -2, the place that was the 0 that we said repeated, instead of actually crossing through the x-axis, it actually just touches it. It's like almost like it bounces off of it. That's going to happen with that repeated 0 because of the fact that I see that it hit -2 and then instead of going through, it just turned right back around. The other thing you may notice is this is now a fourth degree. My end behavior, my fourth degree is going to be the same on both ends. Both ends of this, I know it's kind of hard to see because the calculator cuts off a little bit, are going to be heading upwards, heading towards positive infinity. So that's how we work backwards, where I give you solutions or zeros and you have to write the standard form equation of that. Make sure you FOIL it all together before you type it into Delta Math.